Hey everyone, welcome back to Haunting Travels. I'm your host, Alex, and tonight I got some really special guests for you. Make sure you subscribe to Haunting Travels and also check out Into the Veil. You're going to want to follow what these guys are doing. I'm joined by John and Chris from Into the Veil, and these aren't your typical paranormal investigators. We're talking about a U.S. Army veteran and a 12-year law enforcement professional, guys who bring over 20 years of combined investigative experience built on discipline and real world awareness and a commitment to showing the paranormal exactly as it is, no hype and no exaggeration. John and Chris, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody.
Thank you for bringing us on.
So, what started your guys' journey?
Chris, go ahead, man. I'll follow after you, bro.
So mine kind of started, the two guys that I was working with, we just kind of, like we watched Ghost Hunters, we watched Ghost Adventures, we watched all those shows, and we were like, you know what, this is something we can do. And there's enough history here in Guthrie that, you know, we poke around enough, we can find something that's definitely haunted to get into. And the first place that we got into was the territorial jail in Guthrie, and that place was just a treasure trove. And I've been there myself probably 4 times, and it's never disappointed. Like, you always get something, and it's always worth it. And that led us to the getting in the newspaper and everything else that followed with it. So it's just been a ride ever since.
So, tell us what exactly happened that evolved for you getting into the newspaper.
So the territorial jail in Guthrie started out as the first jail in Oklahoma Territory, and it went from that to being a church, and then a teen center, and then there was a cult that had taken it over for their headquarters. It was called the Samaritan Cult. And there was a gentleman that had come down here from Chicago. He was one of the founding fathers of the Chicago Film Foundation. His name was Alan Ross. He had come down here to see what the cult was all about. And after being down here for so long, he stopped communicating with family, and people started getting worried. Like, his family had reached out to psychics to try and see where he might be, and his brother actually started making a movie that was called Finding Alan, which you can still find on YouTube. And they ended up, the weekend of the Oklahoma City bombing, they left Guthrie and they started moving towards Wyoming, and ended up getting settled in Cheyenne. Cops went by, questioned Linda Green, didn't find anything. Went back the second time, and they found his sneakers sticking out of a crawl space in the bottom of the house.
Okay.
And yeah, it's a horrible story, horrible thing to happen to anybody. And she ended up dying from some sort of a cancer before she ever got a chance to be tried, charged, anything. And
It was almost like a Wizard of Oz scene.
Exactly. So when we went in the first time, there was still a box of his personal stuff in one of the rooms. And there was a note there that said something about, I'm told that I got married, but when I ask for proof, all I get is pictures of feet.
Yeah, I'm good with feet.
But when, like, just on the sheer coincidence, we had left one static camera rolling down the hallway. Excuse me. And we had come back in from a break, and the piece of equipment, which was on the spirit box, part of it was just scrolling through stuff, and we could hear stuff trying to talk. And we had asked, who is here? who's trying to talk, and clear as day it goes Alan. And we kind of all looked at each other like, what? I was like, what's your last name? And then it repeated again, Alan Ross.
Wow.
So that was what landed us in the paper, was getting him coming across on the spirit box.
And John, what got you into the paranormal?
Oh my goodness. The TV show Sightings. So when the TV show Sightings, I was a young kid. They had the Sally House episode, and of course, like any young little 10-year-old kid watching it on TV, which I'm 47 now. So, watching it and you're just like, this is crazy. And then the Pinkman's, he's getting scratched. You watch the blood come off his chest and his arms. Of course, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. So that got me interested, because also raised up in a Christian family, in a Christian household. My grandfather was a preacher. My dad was a deacon, stuff like that. My uncle's a preacher. All my other cousins, they all do Christian music for a living. I had to think, is this real? Is this not real? Because you don't know what you're really seeing. But it was so compelling of the evidence that was live on TVs. They were filming that episode live, that I was just thinking, what if there is an in-between? Because I was raised thinking, okay, when you die, you go to heaven or hell. But in the Bible, it talks about, before Christ makes his return, you're in Abraham's bosom. So that means that there is a between. You haven't ascended all the way to heaven. So what if they are trying to communicate with us? What if they are trying to make contact and let us know what we need to do, or stay away from the evil and things like that? So it sparked my interest. Later in life, I became a police officer. I've had several paranormal experiences as a police officer. I went to a place called Raider. The alarms went off, and we had to check that place out. While me and another officer was in there, we heard footsteps. We get into the it was like a room that had the pool area. They had a pool in there. The pool was still full of water. It had a bunch of dead animals. Me and Thomas hit our flashlights, and we can see like pentagrams and satanic writing that was on the walls. And at that point, we're like, deuces, we're out of here. We're hearing screams, hearing walking. But the weird thing is with the walking, that's the first time I've heard walking behind me. And having another police officer there with us, Thomas, me and him, both of us going there, clearing out the building. And we'd hear walking about us, behind us. And we turn around with our flashlight, and there's nothing in that hallway. There's like, hang on, And at that time, we were like 24, 25 years old. So we're pretty young. It was like, this is really weird. And then I had a lot of other weird encounters, being a police officer with other people, their houses, strange calls. A place called Cityplex Towers here in Tulsa had a lot of weird stuff there. That was owned by the Oral Roberts and the Oral Roberts University. They have a full cardiac and heart hospital in there, and a full morgue. So going in that building, getting calls, hearing weird stuff in that building, that really made more of an impact to me. So after I quit being a police officer, due to a big layoff go ahead.
Don't forget to tell her about the lady that was upstairs that you walked down.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's the weirdest thing. I think that was more of an angelic encounter. So what had happened is I responded to a call down to Cityplex Towers. It was during the big ice storm of 2007. And the security wanted officers there because to clear out the building, that they thought they had a transient and homeless person in the building. They couldn't get out, and they couldn't find her. So I ended up responding during the ice storm. I thought other officers would be there, but because of what was going on in the city of Tulsa at the time with all the power outages and things like that, I ended up being the only one to respond. And I hate to name drop, but I'm going to name drop. So I came in contact with a security officer from a company called U.S. Security Associates that was the contractor for the Cityplex Towers at the time. And his name is Farrell Austin. And he tells me, and when I say names, like this incident happened to be so crazy that I will never forget these two people's names. So I meet with Farrell. He's probably maybe 68, 69, maybe early 70s, somewhere in there. And he's telling me that they're looking for this homeless lady, and they think that she's on the second floor around the gym area in this place, walking around the track, maybe taking a shower in one of the locker rooms. So we finally make contact with this lady. Me and him find her. We walk her to the elevator. We get in the elevator. We go downstairs. We're into the main lobby area where we're walking out. And me and Farrell, I tell him, I straight tell this guy, I was like, hey, make sure you hold on to her arm. We're going to escort her outside this building. I know it's rough weather, but this is y'all's policy. You call me, so we have to carry on through the policy. So we're walking her out, and I have her arm, and Farrell has her other arm. So basically, I'm on the left side of her, or sorry, the right side with my left arm, and I'm holding her, gently by her arm. Farrell's got her other arm about through here, tricep area, trying to just gently guide her out. And I'm explaining to her, hey, you can't be here. You're trespassing from this place. They don't want you here. The John 3:16 mission is open. The homeless shelter is open. If you need a ride, I don't mind taking you and getting you a ride. I will take you there. So the whole time that we're walking out, this lady named Lenora Jackson, where she was in control of their master control room, like watching their surveillance.
Yeah.
She is hitting the radio, but I can hear her trying to tell Farrell, like, hey, you need to call me. You need to call me. I'm thinking, this is weird. I'm thinking, great, I'm going to get stuck here on another call. This is just not what I want, So I didn't pay attention why she's freaking out until we get back after we walk this lady out. So we get her to the front door. I open up the door. We walk her outside, and my patrol car is sitting out there, and I'm telling her, I was like, hey, I will take you down there. There's no problem to do this. I look at Farrell, and I look back, and the lady is just gone. And we were like, hang on, like, where'd she go? Like, this is like ice and snow, like ice storm of 2007 in Tulsa. And that was really weird. Well, what Lenora was trying to do is radio Farrell Austin, their other, their security guard, asking, did you find the lady while y'all walking downstairs? And then Farrell responds back to her, and he's like, yeah, we went ahead and walked her outside, and we don't know where she went. Lenora says, you need to come back now. And and Farrell's like, where? She's like, come back here to master control. And they review the film, and you can see me and Farrell. Sorry, I got to stand up and act this out. You see, I'm walking like this, and it's just like that. There's nobody there. Farrell's on the other side. The lady was never there on camera, but to us, she was physically there. We were physically touching her. We walked her outside. We go back, after that, review the film, and nobody's there whatsoever. The lady was never in our arms from the time that we walked her in the elevator footage from where we exited the elevator out, the CCTV, like, she was never there.
What was your immediate thoughts?
That's weird. And actually, I thought it was a camera glitch. I thought, that's really strange. Maybe it's just the angle, but when you clearly see, 45, 50 seconds of, walking down the hallways and nobody's there, it was strange, because I was 26 at the time. So it's one of those things. It's like, okay, like, how'd that happen? What just happened? I couldn't explain it. And, that was a really weird situation out at City Splex Towers. Shortly after that, we had a big layoff in Tulsa. I ended up leaving law enforcement, got into professional motorcycle racing, and that allowed me, to take vacations and things like that. So that's when I took my vacation one time after one of my seasons ended, and went to the Crescent Hotel and did the first ghost hunt, with their little tour thing that they have. They have a ghost tour, and bought my first K2 there, and took my daughter. At the time, she was 13. We go down there to where they had the body holding there in the Crescent Hotel. We take pictures, and I still got the picture sitting over here. We did one with a 35 millimeter camera, got tons of strange white balls. Like, I can get the picture and show you. It's absolutely insane. Basically like orbs and stuff, yes. But the orb picture was not inside the building. It was outside. The crazy thing is, and like I said, I can go get the picture and show you, to show proof. This, me and Chris, we definitely want to show the proof, showing the realism. If we get evidence, we get evidence. If we don't, we're still going to show that we don't get evidence. We just want to present the truth of what's going out there.
Absolutely.
But so the crazy thing is, that was 2000. 2011 when I did, or no, I think it was 2010 when I did that ghost hunt. Later on, that area that I have all those orbs, that is now the area that they found all those jars of the specimens of all the people that they, the old crazy doctor from the Crescent Hotel had, did his experiments, and he took all the specimens and hit them, dug a big hole in the ground, threw them in the ground, covered it all up. 9 years later, I think it was in 2019, it's when they discovered all those jars, and that right above where that jars is where we took that picture and had all those orbs.
Oh.
So really strange incidents. Maybe might be coincidence, but definitely strange. And that investigation, not just the orb pictures. Me and my daughter, Trinity, she went with me. Like I said, she was young. We were walking through one of the hallways during the tour, and I even snapped a picture of the dresser drawer that pulled out in the hallway. They have like these 3 dresser drawers on the dresser still sits there. It's up on, it would be the north hallway on the stairwell, and it's on the second run of the stairwell. And we, like, the whole group heard like the sliding, and we all look over, and when I'm talking 15, 20 people on this tour, ghost tour at Crescent Hotel, watching the drawer come out, I'm like snapping pictures like crazy with that 35 millimeter. And, and of course, I was a skeptic. I'm still a skeptic. That's why we're investigators. I'm trying to figure out if this is real. What's causing this? I went out, I pulled the drawer out, pulled it like completely out. There's no motor inside of it, no oil or anything like that to cause it to be lubed up, to slide out, anything, it was not set up. And at that point, I thought, this is crazy, and I want to do this. I need to figure out what's going on, because that's not normal. And ever since, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, ever since that night, I have been addicted to it. I mean, it's just, I can't get enough of this.
And how did you guys meet and join a team and become Into the Veil?
That's a cool story. Chris and I both had our own teams before this. Those teams, I would have to say, if I may, Chris, speak for both of us, those teams did not work out for us. And, well, at least for my behalf, my team did not work out. There was a lot of behind the scenes drama and stuff that went on. And I was basically done. I was going to quit paranormal, not quit the paranormal, but quit recording for YouTube and not putting it all out there. I was just thinking, this is just too much. And right at my wit's end, I was supposed to go out to Cottonwood, Arizona to go visit this girl that I was engaged to and spend the weekend in Jerome, Arizona, where there's a bunch of haunted hotels that's been on Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters. And me and her went through a breakup and ended the relationship. And I thought, you know what? I've already been invited to go out to the Guthrie. I backed out of Guthrie to go out to Cottonwood. And then, of course, I have to eat my words and ask Gina Smith, the lady that put the Guthrie Publishing Museum, that ghost hunt on. And I hit her up and I was like, hey, listen, this is what's up. My best friend had just died of cancer August 18th. Just a couple of weeks before I met Chris. That was August 31st when we did the Guthrie hunt. And met Chris. I remember seeing him. I remember cutting my videos. The video of the Guthrie hunt of me and Chris, our first hunt, it's on YouTube. So y'all can find us here on YouTube, Into the Veil. And it's in the 3rd season playlist. And at that time, my channel was called Freakmore Paranormal. My last name is Creekmore, and I was making fun of my last name and just thought, and everybody's like, yo, that's cool. It sticks. So when y'all find it, if any of y'all that are watching this podcast, you go back in the 3rd season playlist on In the Veil. If it says Freakmore, that's the reason why. That's basically the old team's name. I remember seeing Chris sitting outside in his car, and I just see this big, Viking looking dude with this beautiful beard sitting in this white SUV. And I'm out there, trying to cut my opening shots. And I kept thinking, who's this guy looking at this car, sitting in his car? And never ever thought in my life that was going to be my best friend in the world and my business partner and my fellow investigator. And we talked that night. I told him all the drama stuff that was going on with the last team. I said, I want to change the name. I want to create something new. I'd like to do this with you. because we just clicked that night. There was just something about it that we just clicked. And I'm so glad. I'm glad I didn't give up. I'm glad I went out there, because Chris and his family has been so gracious and loving to me, and just take me in like I'm like one of their own. They're just awesome people. It's nice to have a fellow investigator that's not spazzing out like I do, because when shit gets weird, when stuff gets weird,
You're fine. You're fine.
When stuff gets weird, like an instance this weekend at Sally House, I'm looking up the stairs and heard a lot of movement, seen a little shadow, and Chris can contest this. Like, I scattered. I couldn't run fast enough to get behind him. Like, we even laughed about it. It was like, I told him, I was I just felt comfortable. I was like, yo, there's my backup. I had to get to my homie. But we just clicked off, and we've been really tight ever since then. It's really nice to be with an investigator you don't have to argue with, or somebody's trying to fact check you on stupid stuff like how fast you're going. It's just, I had a lot of issues with the last team, but it's nice. Chris has definitely got some awesome experience. I didn't know about him being on Ghost Adventures until after we met, and he told me, and then I had to go watch the episodes. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. My homie has been on this, had this experience, and then when he let me down the Finding Steve episode, and I watched all that documentary. Missing Alley. Sorry, I'm thinking of Steve of what I'm talking about from Atchison's.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. But finding Alan. So when Chris showed me and told me about the Finding Alan stuff, and that connected back to the Guthrie jail, and I started watching all the documentaries on it, and then went back and watched the Guthrie jail episode on Ghost Adventures. I was like, this dude is like serious. This guy is as serious about this as I am. And this is the perfect person that I want to create a bond with, and a team and a brotherhood with, and do this with. Somebody that you can trust, somebody that's not going to give you a jump scare. We do laugh. We have a good time. We like to poke fun at each other and just act like we're boys. You know what I mean? But when it comes down to business, when we're investigating, it is completely serious. I mean, what you get is what you get. There's no extra editing where we're adding sounds in or anything like that. Like, what you get is genuine. If you like it, and you have the option to go watch somebody else.
All right. Well, as a lot of you guys may have heard, Chris was on Ghost Adventures. So let's go ahead and ask, how was that? How did you end up on Ghost Adventures, Chris?
So I'm pretty sure that the newspaper article had got their man, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Had gotten their research guy, and had managed to reach out to the lady that owned it, and she immediately called me and was like, hey, these guys want to get you on the show, because of the stuff that you've got in the newspaper and stuff. And it was funny because I showed up. I don't think Zach was there yet, but Aaron's like running around like a chicken with his head cut off, running wires and equipment, doing Aaron stuff. And
sorry, bro. When you say that, I'm thinking,
no,
Aaron, don't run. Don't, like, that's an inside thing that me and Chris have. It's always like, Aaron, don't run. Sorry, bro. Sorry, my bad.
You're fine. That's funny.
And then come to find out, Darren Evans was there as well, which was also from another episode that I won't say because I just won't. And then Zach shows up and he's like, wow, you're a big dude. And we started off down by the basement door and took him in there. And, I, just like everybody else, I was kind of skeptical on if they're real or not. And there's one room down there that just never sees daylight. It doesn't matter where the sun's at, just sunlight never touches this room, and it feels really, really ominous. And I walked straight past it, and then Aaron was right behind me, and he jumped when he walked past that room. I was like, okay, well, he can feel it. And then Zach was like, oh no, I'm not going in that room. So that kind of spoke to me that, they know more than everybody, because there's so much hate that surrounds Zach, and I know that he has a whole bunch of stuff that he's done that nobody really approves of, but when it comes to the investigations, Zach is 100% about what's going on. And that's just it. When he's on scene, the business button is flipped, and that's what it's about. And,
so, do you think that media plays against him a lot?
I do. Because all you're ever going to see, and you can see this in what goes on, he never says anything. You never get a quote from him about anything. He just sticks to himself, and he maintains his business, and that's it. He's just basically lets everybody think what they want to think, and you can't fault the man because he's making tons of money doing everything that he's doing, regardless.
Right.
But they had me on there for an advisor on that episode. I was there. I helped them review pretty much all the evidence that they came across at the cult house, and then I was also there on the Stone Line when helping them review evidence there while that one was going on too. So definitely one of the best weekends in my book for just about everything. Walking around like a starstruck little kid.
That's so cool, bro.
Tell me how it was co-hosting Dead Capital paranormal classes.
So Dead Capital was pretty cool. We had started off before that. Me and Rebecca and her husband John and my wife were co-hosting the Fort Reno ghost tours during Halloween, and we did that all through October and in the first weekends of November. And then we were like, you know what? This is cool, but this stops. Like, why don't we just start something up where we can actually teach people how to do this? So then not only do we have the ability to kind of still do this through the upcoming weeks and whatnot, and then also give somebody else a spark to where they want to go do this and show them how to do it the right way and not the Hollywood way. And that went on for up until the owner of the building that we had changed ownership, and I believe she got pregnant as well. So then that kind of faded off because other stuff had taken more precedence in life, and as life does.
Of course. And
but that was great. It was a great night.
And so what kind of equipment do you use, and what's the first thing that you grab for during an investigation?
A camera. A camera.
Definitely.
We've learned that the hard way. Chris and I have an episode that we are still working on editing and getting out. It was at it's a place called
location.
Yeah, undisclosed location. Called Black. It rhymes with Black Bear Cemetery. But we investigated this. It's an abandoned church and a cemetery out in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma. It's like straight up nowhere. It's on your way off, like little bit off of I-35 on your way to Kansas. And Chris had found this location, and he was like, "Hey, let's go out there." We go out there. We get some solid, crazy evidence. We turn off the cameras, and as we're leaving, there is a disembodied scream so loud that I'm looking at him. I'm like, dude, you got the pew pew? I'm like, what is that? I'm freaking out. And Chris is like, are you recording? I'm like, no, the camera's done. Like, I already put it up. And that's a lesson learned, because it's like, it always happens when you don't have your camera rolling. So, like, when we went to the Sally house this past weekend, I told him, I was like, bro, from the time we get out the truck, have a camera rolling. You have something ready, and which I had my camera going. And as I told him, I said, from the moment that you walk in this house, it's active. And Chris can tell you what we've heard, from walking in the house. I mean, like it's
So many cool experiences from the house. So many cool experiences.
So
the
I
house is
have some
real.
questions about the Sally house.
Okay.
Do you think that there is actually a demon there?
No.
Okay.
I do not.
Okay. I don't think so either. But I wanted to get y'all guys' perspectives. And also,
We know exactly what's there. We made contact with it. We know we have their names. Like, we know who it is. And once you address them and get the approval, they will talk to you. Dead Bell, K2s, REM pods. It's straight up like they will answer you, like straight up answer you. And once you get the approval, it's done. The house is quiet. It's peaceful. You can feel the weight, everything lifted off your shoulder, and you can sleep there. You can have fun. Like, it's just a great experience.
I love that. So you come
Sorry
in
for
with a
overstepping.
more respectful approach,
Definitely,
Absolutely.
definitely.
which I love because some people do go out here and all they want to do is provoke the spirits. Because they, of course, think everything is demonic or, and that's not the case.
No,
That
not
word gets thrown around way too much.
exactly. I totally agree with Chris. Not everything is going to be demonic. Not everything is going to be haunted. Things are residual energy. There's bad things that happen at these locations, and it's just kind of like a repeat of just energy circulating. But when you do come in contact with the spirit or entity, if you're more respectful and you become one with that location and just act normal, don't go in there and cuss them out, and don't go in there and provoke them. And just, my main thing is when you do paranormal, even if for any of you debunkers watching this, keep an open mind. Like, if you want to debunk our stuff, debunk it, but keep an open mind, because that's the way that we go into it. Chris is prior military. I'm paramilitary, ex-law enforcement. So we both have professions that we have to learn to keep our cool, keep our composure, and think outside the box and be like, is this really what's going on? And like Chris said, a lot of people go in there, they're disrespectful at these locations. They're throwing dolls and balls and, cussing the spirits out. Like, you're not going to get crap off that. It may look cool on camera, but to other professional and paranormal investigators, basically other investigators like me and Chris, it looks really immature. It'd be really nice to see a lot of people go in there level-headed, be cool, get your evidence, and share your evidence with the world. You're always going to get your skeptics. We're always going to have people that's going to crap talk us and think it's fake, or we're doctoring something, because people are just out there like that. But if you're respectful with the location, and always, one of my rules is always leave it cleaner than what you got there. If there's trash on the ground, take a little bit of trash up, throw it out. It's not going to hurt you. But be respectful to the locations. Be respectful to whatever is there. I mean, especially if it is demonic, you definitely don't want to go in there and screw with a demonic spirit. That's the last thing you want.
Well,
But yeah,
also, spirits were humans in the before, and they're still going to act like that and be that person in the afterlife. So if you're being disrespectful to a spirit, I'm sure you're also going to make them mad.
and
And if
that's
they
exactly
don't
right.
want to talk to you, then they're not going to talk to you.
Yeah, and coming in
Exactly.
there with a bad attitude is just, no matter who you are, off-putting. Like, if you come in there and you do something, I'm 100 times more likely to not do what you're asking me to do, just for that simple fact.
Exactly.
Just from being disrespectful. Yeah, I agree. But back on your question of the equipment we use a lot of typical equipment, the K2s, the REM pods, things like that. Chris, he's got the dead bell. The dead bell is probably one of the best piece of equipment we've had. It's an easy way that they can transfer their energy, because the dead bell. Well, Chris, explain how the dead bell works.
Yeah, the thing that I like about the dead bell is that you don't, like, physical touch doesn't make it go off. It's strictly energy from whatever it is. So you could sit there, you could physically touch it, move it, it doesn't matter, it won't go off. Like, it has to have interaction from a source of energy of some sort in order to make it go off.
Okay, so is
So,
it more like EMF?
correct.
Okay.
And it's a lot less likely to have some sort of a false, we call it a false positive, I guess. Because, like, granted, your phone, if you don't have it on your airplane mode, if your phone's by it, that'll set it off. Um, your camera can set it off too, so you got to make sure and keep your distance away from that. But if it's all by itself, like we've had it sitting in the middle of a nursing home floor,
Oh my gosh, dude, that was
and
nuts. Oh, that's so nuts. Dude, sorry to
just
interrupt. Chris, you got to tell him about that. Tell him about the nursing home.
but just answering questions that just make sense. Was this where you got your medicine from? Ding. We set it on the nurse's station and was like, well, maybe if you ring the bell, maybe one of the nurses will come by and get your medicine for you or help you with what you need. Ding. Well, looks like they're not coming. You might have to ding it more than once. Ding, ding. They're still not coming. Maybe you have to ding it more than that. Ding, 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 ding. Just, yeah. I mean, we've got just so many intelligent, honest answers. And when you're asking it and it's just that one clear, concise ding, and that's
It's so
it.
weird.
It's
It's
awesome.
so weird. Well, it's like this weekend. Well, this weekend we just got back a couple days ago from the Sally house, and we set the dead bell down on the pentagram down in the basement, and we asked if there is a portal down there, and it just goes ding 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 ding. And it was like, okay, winner chicken dinner. It's like, dude, this is crazy. Yeah, especially when we're asking one for yes, two for no, and getting positive answers. Ding, ding ding, and then it was like, is this a portal? And it just bop, 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 bop. And of course, mine and Chris's face, we're looking at you like this is crazy.
What do you think has been your favorite place that you haven't investigated so far?
Ooh.
I'll let you go because I'm biased on that.
Man, I have not got to do the Stone Line Inn or the jail yet. That's definitely if me and Chris could ever get back in there, as a team, that would probably take the cake. I have two locations that absolutely just freak me out. They're just strange. One of them is the Garnett House, the 1858 Garnett House in Garnett, Kansas. That place is absolutely 100% haunted. It is not nice. It's evil. It's an evil haunting. It's not your typical normal, that place is messed up. Other than that, I would say a place called Bird Creek School in Pawhuska, Oklahoma. I have filmed there about 5 or 6 times before I met Chris. I took Chris there and told him, I was like, dude, this place is weird. And he got to experience it. And even that episode, which is out on YouTube that you can watch, when we're there, you can literally hear walking inside and outside the schoolhouse. It's a one-room school building built in the early 1920s, Pawhuska, Oklahoma, which is where the Killers of the Flower Moon happened at. That whole story is a really violent story. There was a lot of murder there, a lot of betrayal for money and oil rights. It's just a really, really dark time. The whole Killers of the Flower Moon, that's because of all the incidents that happened up in Pawhuska. That's why J. Edgar Hoover decided to create the FBI. And the FBI was created and formed in Pawhuska, Oklahoma because of that. But I took Chris out there. We have a future plan, or a trip plan, to go back out here in a couple months and with some more people to validate what we have investigated. But that place is definitely strange. It's weird. I just can't put my finger on it. But other than that, I would say the Garnett House is my craziest location I've got to go into.
And what about you, Chris?
My all-time favorite place is that jail in Guthrie. Ever since that was our first one, and everything that's transpired out of that one, I also feel like in some way I'm what keeps Alan's name alive, and I know that sounds weird, but I've introduced so many people to what's happened to him and what's happened past all that, that everybody's like, wow, I didn't know that about Guthrie. And like, I've even tried to get the lady to sign over the rights so that we can clean it and make it a museum or something. And unfortunately, I think it's going to be one of those buildings that just falls into disrepair and it'll just fall by the wayside and be forgotten about.
Which is really
But
sad.
it is.
really is. It's a beautiful building. Absolutely beautiful building. Chris is taking me there. We got to walk around the outside. Of course, I'm that friend that I'm like, yo, dude, like, let's get a screw gun, a screwdriver. Let's take the screws out out the board. Let's go in there. But of course, we have to be respectful of the locations, so we don't do that. But also, where Chris lives at and where that jail's at Guthrie, Oklahoma, that town is probably the most haunted town in all of Oklahoma. The history runs so deep there. It runs all the way back down to the Dalton gang. I mean, it's crazy. And then they have the guy there, Elmer McCurdy. Is that his name, Chris? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Elmer McCurdy, he rode with the Dual and Dalton gang, ended up dying in one of the raids, and that whole story is crazy. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chris. So he dies, and they put him on display, his dead body on display. It ends up getting sold to, like, was it a carnival or circus?
Yeah, so the original embalmer actually over-embalmed him. So instead of him being just like a normal body, like, he was mummified, like black, and
Preserved.
They ended up selling him to a place that he traveled around, known as like the world's biggest bumbling outlaw, because nothing he ever did turned out the way that a normal outlaw would happen, and that's why he ended up dying where he died. But at some point he got sold to a circus, and then somehow ended up in like a fun house in California, and like he was hanging up as a prop in this spook house, and they were filming a movie, and somebody
They're in
backed
Hollywood.
up and broke finger, and they looked and they were like, oh man, that looks like bone. And that was what led them to find out that, yeah, that was a real person. So they paid to ship him back out here to Oklahoma, and he's buried out there in Boot Hill.
God. Tell us about
Just a couple miles from Chris. Isn't that crazy? They had him as a sideshow piece in carnivals and a World Fair and all the whatnot. Then Hollywood ends up getting him, and they think it's a movie prop. And then they break him, and then they find out that during the movie, and I can't remember what movie it was, but I know the movie is still out there, and his body's actually hanging in that movie, and it's a real body, and they had no idea. And how crazy is that this old outlaw that gets shot and killed during the Dalton raid up in Coffeyville ends up becoming a shiso piece, hanging up as a prop and thinking it's a fake prop, find out it's a real prop, and like you talking about, that's weird.
how does that even happen?
Like, I don't know. I don't even think they know. Like, that's crazy.
How does like a body get mixed into props?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's hilarious.
But it's funny as crap, but it's so freaky when you find out the story, and then Chris is like, oh, yo, dude, the guy's buried like just a couple miles down the road here in town. And then he takes me there, and it's like, okay, you see the Doolans, and then there's like, I was like, no way. The story with this grave and the body that's underneath my feet has went through some crazy history.
Yep.
Like, that's amazing.
So what happened at Goatman's Bridge?
Oh my goodness. Both of us have been there. Chris, you've been there. I've been there.
Man, that's as far as mine went.
My investigation was kind of crazy. That was with my old team. The first time, I've been there twice and filmed twice there with the old team. The first time, me and the other investigator, we got some mixed signals. we actually thought it was full of crap. Like when we call it out on the episode, it's like, like we don't think this place is haunted. I think this is just a bunch of crap that people came up with. They're just trying to make this bigger than what it is. Excuse me. And then a year later, me and that same team, we return again, and our mission was to find a human Ouija board. There is a human Ouija board. There's a slab that a house was built on, and it sits across the street from the Goatman's Bridge, and you have to walk down this path and find it. And on this pad of this old concrete pad of this house, somebody has made a Ouija board, like A, B, C, D, E, F, all yes, no, goodbye, everything. Hello, goodbye. Like it's just crazy. So when we did our Estes method on that site, on that pad, the human Ouija board, we got some really compelling evidence. Of course, I was still a skeptic because I didn't know what the other guys were asking, because when you're doing Estes method, I like to go blindfold. I like to hold my headphones closest to my ear so I don't hear nobody. I just want to hear what's coming off the SB7. That's, the spirit box that we use. Got some crazy cool evidence. But the scary part is when we went back the second time is know who the real story, what happened, that has currently happened there. There was a kid named Lamont Stowers that was murdered back maybe 9 years ago, somewhere around there. And it was a racial attack. Black kid, white dudes with hate, killed this kid. They dumped his body up underneath the Goatman's Bridge. When we found out that story and we went back, we tried to make contact with Lamont, and that's when we got all of our evidence. And then it was like Lamont was trying to talk, which that episode's on the In the Veil channel. That's the 3rd season playlist, and I think they're both in the 3rd season playlist. But it's a really sad story, to have hate like that still exists in America, that somebody had to take a young teenager's life. And when you find that story out, of course it plays with your psyche, so you're really thinking, what's really going on. It does make it spooky. As far as the Goatman itself, I have never came across no Goatman out there. It is weird. It's really spooky because it's just a really dense area of woods with a bunch of paths that you walk through. And a lot of people, they'll claim on YouTube, it's really thick, isn't it?
Yes.
A lot of people claim that they see all these red eyes, but when you get out there and you're walking out there at nighttime, there's an airport right by, and the Goatman's Bridge, that the water that goes up underneath that bridge flows into a lake right there next to it. So they have all these red towers, to let you know where the water's at and where the airplanes are at. Well, with all the dense forest area between those towers, you can see, the lights, flickering. So it gives an appearance that there's red eyes out there, especially if you're walking and you don't know what, if you're not from the area, you're going to think that, oh yeah, it's spooky. But as far as the Goatman, the lore sounds really cool. Great story. Good campfire story to spook you out. But just my opinion doesn't mean crap, because it's my opinion. I don't think there's a Goatman out there. I think what is out there trying to talk to people is probably Lamont. If not, it's probably things that other people have brought there to try to conjure up. Maybe they brought Ouija boards or other items that were haunted and had attachments to it, and they've released things that are there. That's just my opinion. That's what I think.
And what has been y'all's favorite investigation together so far?
Oh man, Bird Creek would be mine.
Bird Creek's a good one. I don't know. We got, as we've progressed, we've slowly acquired new equipment, and I managed to throw together an SLS camera with my laptop.
Oh my gosh, dude. I'm sorry, bro.
And Connect sensor that I've had forever. And so the first few hours that we were at the Sally house, we just kind of sat there, no cameras on, and just let what happened happen. So I fired up the SLS and I just had it pointing in the living room from the kitchen table. And John had went to get something out of the living room, and here pops up like this 3 foot, 4 foot tall figure at the end of the couch. And it looks like a little kid sitting there and like keeps moving its hands like it doesn't know what to do with its hands. And I pulled out my phone, I started recording, I was like, dude, there's something here on the end of the fucking couch. Sorry.
You're fine. You're fine.
And
we're allowed to
John
cuss on
like,
this
nope.
channel.
Cool,
Okay.
cool. Well, we
And
just
John
don't want
was
to
like-
cause any disrespect to your channel.
No, not at all.
Sorry, Chris. Sorry, man.
And John was like, no way. I was like, no, seriously, it's right there at the end of the couch. And it's just like standing there, and it just keeps like moving its hands. And it kind of bend over every now and then. Well, John walks up and he goes to stick his hand like over its head, and it ducks like, don't touch me. And then he moves his hand and it stands back up straight.
Oh, man.
And it just sits there for another 2 or 3 minutes, and he gets the little temperature gun, and there's like a 2 or 3 degree temperature difference between the rest of the house and where this is at. And when he goes to show me on the temperature gun, it just disappears. It's just crazy.
And there was nobody sitting on the couch?
No, actually,
me and him there.
Yeah, Chris has already posted that evidence. Was it on TikTok or Facebook?
Yeah, it's on my TikTok.
On his TikTok. So find Chris. Chris, plug in your TikTok. So if anybody wants to see that evidence, I mean, it's straight off his phone.
Yeah.
Well, Heimdall is my TikTok.
Yeah, it was definitely weird because Chris was like, man, there's something sitting right here. And of course, what I was trying to do, I kept asking him, like, am I getting close? Because I'm trying to see with my own physical hand if there's a cold or hot, see if there's a temperature differential. I honestly, just my opinion, I think the best piece of equipment that any paranormal investigator can use is their own eyes and their own ears.
Mm-hmm.
Not a K2, not a REM pod, all the bonus stuff.
I don't know
Bonus
if that'll
equipment is
show up
great.
or not.
Oh yeah, show that.
Oh, yeah, let's see that, Chris. I think you have to talk for me.
Oh, okay. Can you see it now?
Okay.
Maybe? Possibly?
Yeah, I think I see
can
it.
see it.
Oh, yeah, right there.
But
Oh,
it
that's
just looks
so
like
funny.
A little kid. Like I don't know what to do with my hands, but I'm just gonna stand here. And like it looks to me like it's just looking at him. Like I don't know what you're doing, but I'm gonna check it out.
Oh,
Well, and you can clearly see in Chris's video right there that our cameras are not on the tripod yet. It's daylight. We had just like recently entered that house, maybe been in there maybe 30, 45 minutes, enough time to start pulling equipment out, trying to get things set up. And that's what Chris was doing, is getting this SLS camera set up and capturing evidence like that, That's why it's important, y'all. When you walk into a location, get your camera, have it rocking and rolling. You never know what you're going to catch. You never going to know.
what has been your best piece of evidence so far that you think you've captured on camera?
Richard Ramirez.
Yeah. So we went to a place in Chandler that's called Caden's Curiosities, which anybody can go visit. He opens at 5 o'clock every night. It's like $10 a person to get in.
Okay.
And he's got
Well
so
worth it.
much, like he's got a whole room full of dolls. And then the cool thing is if you investigate, another well worth the money thing, it's $30 a person. You will not get a price like that anywhere. And it's like you can get in there from 9 o'clock until 1 o'clock in the morning.
That's really good.
If you go in there and you get a name for one of the dolls, there's a little cardboard piece of paper that you get, write the name on it, stick it with the doll, and then there's a clipboard that you can write down how you got it, which doll it is. He's got a full skeleton from the Oddfellows in a coffin in his rooms.
But the Richard Ramirez thing is what blows my mind. I'm sorry to cut you off, Chris, but go ahead, man.
Yeah. So then he's got like equipment that's original to the building because it was a doctor's office. So he's got like the original exam tables. And then he's got this binder that is full of handwritten letters, correspondence from a lady that owns a curiosity shop down the street around the corner when she was like 16 or 17, and she was pen pals with Richard Ramirez. So, like, all of these letters are handwritten by this guy in pencil. So every bit of whatever emotion that it was that he had is dumped into these letters. And yeah.
Oh, well, just what's written in those letters. When me and Chris was reading those letters, it will blow your it's some sick stuff like foot fetish, but it goes into like if he can just meet you and sacrifice you, then his God will be happy. And it just it's dark stuff. Like it is. We were sitting there reading it, and there's just he was definitely out there. It's spooky as crap.
Oh man.
But we could set a REM pod on it, and like every time you'd walk by these letters, that REM pod would just go nuts. Like he's sitting there guarding these letters, like, don't you touch it, don't get near it. And it got to the point to where like we'd go move by it, and I was like, I'm not looking at it, I'm not touching it, and it wouldn't go off as bad.
Oh man. Do you think Richard Ramirez might have had something to do with the Liza stuff from the Cecil Hotel?
Well, the Lisa Lam case, that is really crazy.
There we go.
I do think that there may have been something. There's something sinister. The way that young girl went in that elevator, was pushing all those different buttons, and I know there's other YouTube channels like that's an Asian game that they play in elevators. I have never came across that. I've tried researching it, but she was definitely freaked out about something. And the unexplainable thing is how did she get into that tank? How did her body get in that tank? And then for what was it, like 5 to 7 days, all those people that were in that hotel are complaining about the water's bad, it smelled bad, and they're drinking her body. Her body was decomposing in that water tank, and these people are drinking it. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's some crazy stuff. But something is definitely sinister in that hotel. You know, from the Lisa Lam case, Richard Ramirez, you know, that he stayed in that hotel while he was doing all of his whole little stint. And even before that, you got the Black Dahlia murder. You know, that lady, they found her body completely, you know, mutilated in pieces outside that, you know, and that's what brought the light to it. And that's maybe that's why he went there. Maybe
and there's been so many deaths there.
Oh, it's just a weird hotel.
Yeah, if you've ever been in that area, we took a vacation there 3 years ago. The homeless around that place is just absolutely insane. Just they're camped out front in tents. To a couple blocks away, you've got Skid Row, and it's just full of homeless people. Like, yeah, I mean, it's horrible. And then back to the Lisa Lam thing, like.
Sorry, my baby.
You're good. You're good.
No, at least she's showing up, because if you'd been like, if we were like with headphones on, we're hearing a little girl, I'd been like, yo, we just got back from the Sally. Like what? Like I've been like, is that happening? Is that happening?
I'm about to.
No, don't be sorry.
I'm about to go put him back real quick.
So back to the equipment that we use. One of my favorite pieces of equipment that we use. Chris owns it. It's called an RT EVP. It stands for real time electronic voice phenomenon. It's been used on Ghost Adventures, things like that, but it is like, I can't even explain it. It's an EVP recorder that hooks to your headphones, and you can literally, if you whisper, if somebody's like 4 rooms away and they whisper, you can hear exactly what they say. I mean, it picks up everything.
That is really
and it's so sensitive. We've used it at a lot of locations. This past weekend when we were at the Sally house, Chris, you know, puts it on. Of course, I'm looking like a little kid, you know, waiting for Christmas. So I'm like, hey, come on, man, let me hear. And then when I put it on, just like normal, like out of all the equipment that we have, the RT EVP absolutely frightens the living crap out of me. Like, it is the craziest piece of equipment. that we have in our arsenal. And thank God Chris owns it and invested in that, because you hear things that you're not supposed to hear. Like, we're at the Sally house and you can hear the wood creaking where it's walking. Not just the carpet, but you can hear the weight on the wood. Like, and it's just so wild. We were at when we were at the Black Bear Cemetery. Chris asked, will you tell me your name? And clear as day, it says, no, I won't.
No, that was at Cadence.
Oh, Cadence. That was at Cadence. That's right. Sorry. That's up there by the where the little dolls were, the little string dolls that make them dance. Yes. And before that, just maybe 20, 30 minutes before that, I was in that room investigating, and I thought I heard like a whisper and a breath behind me, and it scares me enough that I'm like literally trying to run out the room, like, yo, bro, you would not believe what I just heard in my own ear. So Chris goes in there with the RTEVP and, asking questions, and you can hear some movement, things like that. But when he asked, will you tell me your name? And it says, no, I won't. Like, I don't want to. Or no, that's what it said. I don't want to. I mean, like plain as day. This isn't one of those things like your DR60 where it's like, and somebody makes up something that they think they're hearing out of static, like a lot of these investigators do.
That's kills Zach.
Dakota. Oh my goodness. Right. It's just, that's something else that we do. Y'all just have to find the Dakotas, the episode that Dakota does this thing. But, from Project Fear, Dakota from Project Fear. But when Chris asked, that question, he gets, it's just clear as possible. There's no static. It just like says it. And Chris is like, bro, you got to hear this. And he replays it, which we're still working on the Cadence episode. I'm almost done getting most of that edited. So that will be out really soon. Probably by the time that y'all are seeing this podcast, hopefully we have it out. If not, look for it, and it's definitely going to be dropping soon. But it was just the clearest thing that, like, that piece of equipment, like, it frightens the shit out of me.
And like, what do you think is the most overrated equipment that people use in this field?
Part of me really thinks that the obelisk is probably one of the most overrated, and like it's been redone by so many people. Like, you've got the obelisk, you've got the envoy, you've got the one that Sam and Colby use,
periscope, or is that what it's called by Paraforce?
Polterscript.
Polterscript, sorry, thank you.
And then not only that, but it's just so expensive to get one. Like, the majority of all your other equipment stands right about that $250 or below range, and then you've got the obelisk, which is sitting at $600, and the Polterscript that sits at $500. And it's like, how do you justify? Like, I understand that you need to make money, but once you've done it so many times, you've paid for everything to make it like 100 times over. You can make it cheaper, and like,
right.
They don't offer any kind of like a creator discount program, and the majority of them don't even offer like veteran discounts, which is wild to me. But I think that kind of goes hand in hand with some of your locations, because some of those are so outrageously expensive. Like me and John had this discussion the other day that they're all based off of groups that are like 5 or 6 people. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but what happens when it's just 2 people? Like, I shouldn't have to pay for 6 people. Granted, like I said, you're here to make money. That's cool, but when you're 2 guys that work full time and this is just your side gig, I can't justify dropping $600, $700, $800 on your location, or the Warrens Museum that's
$3,500. Yeah.
Yes, which I will be going to this year.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
So I am excited for that one. But I'm going to make it worth it by going to other locations around the area while I'm there.
Definitely.
So I had to make sure that the place I'm staying at is haunted, which I can't say that name right now because I don't want any creepers
Definitely.
popping up at me.
No, no.
Right. No, we understand that completely. I think one of the most overrated pieces I see is that stupid rope light. Like, there's so many people
Oh, yeah.
running rope lights, or when you get on TikTok or social media, and they'll have 2 or 3 cat balls, a rope light, and a REM pod, and a K2. I'm like, that's overkill. Like, use your ears, use your eyes, get one piece of equipment out. Test that equipment. If they don't, maybe these things, whatever we're talking to and making contact with these entities and these spirits, or maybe it is demonic. What if they don't want to touch that one piece of equipment? We're not them. We're not on the other side. So I don't think it would hurt them, if they touch a REM pod, the antenna on the REM pod or something like that. But I hope it doesn't hurt them, But I think one of the things that's overrated, definitely a rope light, and definitely the DR60. There's a lot of these investigators that go in there on YouTube and Facebook and TikTok and all these other platforms, and like I said, they got the DR60 by Panasonic, which it may be legit. We don't own one. I don't want to buy one. I'm just not interested in it. But every time somebody asks something, it's so sensitive that what if you're moving around? What if it's your clothing making that sound? And these people are like, oh, and it's not definitive proof. You don't actually hear an actual voice. You're going off of what the person's saying. Like, oh, well, it said, oh yeah, it's right here walking in the room, or whatever their answer is. I think the DR60 is way overrated. Like I said, the best equipment that me and Chris have had is our own eyes, our own ears. Take out simple cameras. It doesn't need nothing to be flashy. Chris uses these awesome Sony cameras. All the cameras I use, I have bought off like Amazon and stuff like that, little 4K cameras, $200 cameras. I use Rode mics. Other than that, majority of everything that you see off of YouTube is filmed right here off of a Samsung phone, like my phone. Chris has seen me do it from day one. That's the best thing I've had. I'm like, this is what you get. I don't have no big flashy camera. I'm plugging it, sorry, I don't want to bright light y'all, but plug it on my, my little handheld tripod thing that I put together, and that's what you get. I want to be as original as possible. Just kind of like the grandparents and the founders that started all this, like Ed and Lorraine Warren. When you watch a lot of Ed Warren's stuff, he's going in just with an old school tape recorder, push and play and record on an old cassette tape. He's got an old 35 millimeter camera. He's got a little bitty boom mic, and he just went at it, and he got real evidence off of it. So I think a lot of paranormal investigators, I think that they need to relax a lot, just get back to the basics. Don't be so fancy. I think a lot of them see things that they use a lot of these equipment because you see it on TV. This is what they're using, so let's use that. There's pieces of equipment that me and Chris use that nobody uses. We're always trying to find something new outside the box, test that equipment, and see what our luck is with it. I'm not a big person with cat balls. The reason why on a cat ball, I think they're very inconsistent. Yes, it does take movement to make the ball go off, but if it has weak batteries, the batteries will make that thing go off. Mm-hmm. So to me, a cat ball is not like a reliable source. What's reliable is having hardcore, real proof evidence on film that people can hear, they can see, and let them be the judge. If they believe it, they believe it. If they don't, it's just like if they don't like our channel, they have the right to just watch something else. If they want to go watch fake stuff, let them go watch it. If they want to see something real and genuine, they're not going to be getting a bunch of jump scares. Me and Chris are not going to be putting all the booms all the big bang stuff, the noises and stuff like that.
Do you have any advice you would give to any upcoming paranormal investigators?
Be open-minded.
Don't overdo it.
Yeah. Don't overdo it. Just stick to the basics. Don't mimic stuff. Don't try to be Sam and Kobe. Don't try to be the next big guy. If you got solid evidence, people are going to find you. It's kind of like how you found us. If you got really good solid evidence and you're being truthful about it, the people will find you and you'll get your views up. But me and Chris, we're not doing this for the fame and fortune. We do this for the thrill. We're doing it for the exploration. We want to find the truth. We want to know what's really going on. Is there an in between? What happens after we die?
Yes.
What's going on? How does this happen? How do they see us? How can they hear us? How can they touch our equipment?
Mm-hmm.
What's really going on? Like, that's why we do it. That's why we're investigators, because we're investigating and trying to bring you the real truth of why this happens, how it happens, and we still don't know.
And where can people follow at? Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. That's also part of the reason for trying to get some of the equipment that not everybody uses, because like one of our other new pieces is that electroscope, and it's not only an EMF detector, but it also does static electricity as well. So Ghost also put off the static energy as well as the EMF stuff. So like the Black Bear Church, with that thing just sitting on the concrete deal, and there's no power. Like, this thing doesn't have a roof on it. There ain't no telling when everything collapsed. But when it's sitting there by itself and all of a sudden you start getting hits on both the static and the EMF side, there's something there. So,
well, even like when like Chris this weekend when we used it, Chris and I were up in Sally's room, and y'all will see it on the episode. We're like, okay, look, we're gonna sit down and have tea with you, Sally, which was a little awkward. We're grown men, but we're both also dads. We have daughters, and it was like, okay, let's sit down and have tea. And not to get off a side note, but some little turd bucket decided to put a bunch of little bells in one of the teacups. I'm like, well, that's probably what this is going to piss the ghost off. If you put bells, like, let's have some bells in our tea and choke. They're already dead. Like, don't kill them twice. But we sit there, we act like we're drinking the tea. It's like, drink the tea, and the polterscript goes like, hang on, the electroscript, right?
Electroscope.
Electroscope.
I had set it on the saucer and put that sensor cable just right up to where your little finger hole was on the teacup. And like, we're sitting there drinking the tea, and then it starts going off like something's trying to pick up the teacup.
Yeah, at that point, I pick it up and I start scanning the area, like what would be like a body being there. And y'all will see it on the episode. I pull it away, put it back up. When I pull it away, it stops. I put it back up there, it continues. And then I'm going up and down in the area, and it's going off. I pull it over here, going up and down, nothing. Like, it was only in that area from where that teacup was. So definitely a strange experience. To me, definitely something manipulating the field of energy there and causing that piece of equipment to go off. And it was about the size of a child.
And where can people find you if they want to see more of your content?
Oh, definitely on YouTube. So y'all find us on YouTube, Into the Veil Paranormal. We're the little, sorry. It looks like that. That's our stickers, but we got merch and stuff. But look for this logo. We're not the lady. There's another In the Veil, and her thing's normally next to us, but we're the two dudes, not the lady. In the Veil Paranormal on YouTube. You can find us on TikTok, In the Veil Paranormal. Chris runs that channel off of TikTok. I run the In the Veil on Facebook, so you can definitely find us TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Like, subscribe, hit that notification. Sorry to plug it in so y'all don't miss anything. Definitely find Alex, HauntingTravels. Y'all make sure you subscribe to her, like, hit that notification for her so you don't miss any of your things. Alex, I watched your episode last night of the Dybbuk box in the forest. That was phenomenal.
Oh, thank you.
Phenomenal. That's wild. You got some balls, girl. You got some balls, because I wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, I actually took one.
No, it's right there. It's right there. Yeah. Chris, she goes with two of her friends, and they open a Dybbuk box. It's like wax sealed inside this haunted forest. And I'm like, nope, nope.
Yeah, that's actually at my house.
So yeah, y'all definitely find Alex, here on Haunted Travels. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. Give her some love. She's giving us love, having us come on here. Definitely find us in the Veil Paranormal on YouTube. And if you want to see some real stuff and you want the real without all the jump scares and a bunch of people running around acting like buttholes and screaming and acting weird, like if you want real stuff, you're definitely going to find it with me and Chris.
Yes, and I will have all the links down in the description below, that where you can go and click right onto to subscribe. And also you can go ahead and click that subscribe button, and you can go ahead and subscribe to both of us right now. Until next time, stay spooky, stay paranormal, and keep an open mind. This is Haunting Travels. This is Into the Veil, and we're out.